Handshake is never pleasant. And when a customer has weak body language by exhibiting responses such as weak handshakes or bad eye contact, it can leave you feeling rather deflated. So we're going to discuss how I recommend handling the situations like these. But before we do, I want to cover the other two types of negative responses, as I'm sure you also get them too. Another kind of negative response we get is when we lose someone's name. We've all walked out, shaken hands with Joe, only to forget his name 5 seconds later and wanted to call Joe Tim or Bob or Frank. And you may have done it too. And then, of course, your third challenge to the traditional meet and greet is when you walk out to greet the customer and the customer dismisses you before you can say or do anything. You'll hear things such as just looking, not buying today, I'm just getting started, I'll come get you if I need you, all I want is your price, or I just need my trade value. These are the things customers will do to build space and dismiss you. So let's go ahead and talk about how to avoid these negative responses in the meet and greet. I look at the feet so I know how to greet. And I only do the traditional meet and greet where we exchange handshakes and names with a customer who actively moves towards my space. With the other customers, I don't do it. I don't do it because I want to avoid these negative responses that I've just described. So the first way, the classical greeting, I advise you to only do that and do it every time with a customer who moves towards you. But with the customer who is a statue, side statue, or moving away, you need a different greeting. Let's take a look at the statue for just a moment. A statue customer is a customer who is basically saying, I'm willing to talk to you. Remember, if they wanted to talk to you, they would have moved towards you when they saw you. But they didn't, which tells me they're willing to. If they didn't want to talk to me, they would have moved away from me, which they haven't done either. So, a statue tells me the customer is willing to hear what I have to say as long as I'm not an idiot. So, as I walk up to that customer, what I'm going to do, unlike the first one, where I would normally shake hands, I won't do that this time. In fact, I encourage you to start adding value by respecting their space. As you walk up, stop outside their personal spatial zone, which, if you remember, is approximately 2 to 3 feet from the customer. You should be what I call just outside the handshake zone, which means I'm far enough away that I can't shake your hand. So as I walk up to you, I'm going to respect your space. That's what I call rule number 1 of a great greeting. Rule number 2 of a great greeting. I'm going to wait to exchange names. Now, why do I exchange names with somebody that I'm not ready to meet yet? All that does is cause the easy come, easy go, where I lose their name. So what I like to do is I give it about 2 to 3 minutes of casual conversation, and then after a couple of minutes, I might say something like, you know what? I just realized we've been talking and I haven't even gotten your name. That's when I'll introduce myself to this customer, and now the customer wants to talk to me. So this time I get a firm handshake and I'll remember their name because I'm not afraid of them anymore and they're no longer afraid of me. So, I told you that there were 3 challenges and I'm offering 3 solutions. Keep in mind, challenge number 1 was the customer giving us weak body language. The solution to that was actually to respect the value of their space. Challenge number 2 was that we would lose the customer's name. That happens all the time, so my solution is simply to wait for the name, just giving it 2 or 3 minutes for both of us to relax a little. Challenge number 3, I said, was that we get dismissed by customers. Again, that's when they say things like, we're just looking, not buying today, you're my first stop, and so on and so on. The solution to number 3 was to think like a customer. So as I walk up to this customer, knowing that they're thinking what they're thinking, I simply begin to introduce that thought for them. So the conversation and flow looks a little bit like this. As I walk up, I say, hi, welcome to the dealership. Thanks for coming out. Are you doing some looking and shopping today? To which the customer would respond, yes, we actually are. And once again, by being proactive, I'm eliminating objections. So as I walk up to the customer, if they're a statue customer, I'm going to respect the space. I'm going to wait for the name, and I'm going to think like them. Now for the side statue, it's pretty much the same thing. Here we have a customer who thinks, I'd rather not talk to you, which is why their body language is turned away. As I walk up to them, remember, rule number 1, I will respect their space. Rule number 2, I'll wait to give them the name. And rule number 3, I'm going to think like them. So to a side statue, I might say something a little like this. Hi, welcome to the dealership. Thanks for coming in. I see you're out looking around. Are you doing some shopping and looking a little bit? To which they'll say, yes. As they say that, if their body maintains a side posture and doesn't cause them to turn towards me, then here's the next thing I say to someone who stays a side statue. I say this. You know, some customers would rather not talk to a salesman. They simply want to look around a little bit. They don't want to be harassed, and I understand. Would you like to look around a little bit, or did you have a question right away? Now, once again, by saying what they're thinking, which is, I'd rather look around a little bit, I don't want to be harassed, and I said that to them, for them, what do you think most people do? They go from, I'd rather not talk to you, to, that's interesting. I'm willing to hear what you have to say. So they go from a side statue to a statue, from I'd rather not talk to I'm willing to talk in just 2 sentences. Now suppose you have this 4th scenario. This is the customer who's literally walking away from you as you walk out to greet them. Once again, this is really no different than the others that I've been teaching you. As I walk up to this customer, I'll start by respecting the space. I also wait to exchange the names, and I think like them. So now as I walk up and you, the customer, are walking away from me, so I'm actually talking to your back, I'll say something like this. Hi, welcome to the dealership. Thanks for coming in. I see you're looking around a little bit, and I get the impression you don't want to be bothered. To which the average customer will immediately stop and turn to see who the genius is that just read their mind. When you can get a customer to go from this position, walking away, to this position, I'd rather not talk, to this position, I'm willing to talk, to this position, I want to talk to you, you know you're doing it right. And all of that can be done by simply thinking like your customer. So, you have 3 approaches. A professional greeting, which is all about trust and respect. A personality-based greeting, which is all about liking and connecting with your customer. Or the 3rd option, which is what I just showed you today. It's a proactive greeting, which is all about thinking like your customer and customizing your greeting to match your customer. Now that was a lot of good information. So just to make sure you were paying close attention, let's take another test. Good luck.